There are so many things to stress about when it comes to international travel. And with my upcoming Europe trip, you know what I'm not stressing about? Finding Wi-Fi or getting scammed on overpriced SIM cards. I'm using Saily, the eSIM app that keeps you connected in over 200 countries without the airport hassle or those ridiculous roaming fees. It's made by the folks behind NordVPN, so privacy and security covered. You install Saily once, pick a plan, and you're good to go. Whether you're hopping countries or just need solid data from the moment you land. And bonus, Saily has a built-in ad blocker that can save you up to 28% on mobile data. That's more scrolling and less wasting data. So if you're traveling soon, do this now. Download the Saily app in your app store and use the code DATEABLE at checkout for 15% off your first data plan. That's DATEABLE for 15% off. Stay connected, stay smart, get Saily.
I've been on a health kick lately with the wedding and then just realizing it was time to start eating better in general, which is why I love Washington Red Raspberries. They are clean, simple, and a seriously delicious way to add more nutrition to your day, whether you're trying to clean up your snacks or build better meals. They're American grown, picked at peak ripeness, and frozen within hours to lock in nutrients like fiber, antioxidants, and vitamin C. And they have no added sugar. Just fruit as nature intended. Instead of my typical breakfast sandwich, I've been doing a red raspberry smoothie, and it's been an excellent source of fiber because, fun fact, raspberries are one of the highest fiber berries. Want to discover new ways to use American frozen red raspberries and get more details on where you can grab a bag of these delicious berries? Go to redraz.org. That's REDRAZZ.org. You'll find recipes, health tips, retail locations, and everything you need to make frozen Washington Red Raspberries a regular part of your routine. And don't forget, look for Product of the U.S. on the bag. Some of my favorite products made with Washington Red Raspberries are Costco Kirkland Signature 3-Berry Blend, True Fruit Hyper Chilled Chocolate Covered Raspberries, milk or dark, or Smucker's Raspberry Jam, peanut butter, and raspberry Uncrustables.
Hi, I'm Yue Xu.
And I'm Julie Krafchick.
We're active daters turned dating insiders.
Here to dive into everything modern dating and relationships.
Welcome to Dateable. Hello, everyone. We are back, and welcome back to all of you.
Welcome. We are so excited to be here because we have a really good topic today. Something that's been circulating the news and TikTok trends, and we know that you'll all have strong opinions on it because we do.
Do you feel like TikTok now is the trendsetter for all things dating?
I think it's the trendsetter for a lot. I actually went to this event last night at Manny's where we did an event, and it was about food influencers in restaurants. And it was basically like the debate of like, you know, there was this whole drama in San Francisco that went viral about a mini influencer that like basically like was treated poorly by a restaurant, and then the influence took him down basically because of the way he was treated. So there was this whole panel just about the two sides, and the journalist was from the SF Standard, which is newspaper traditionally, now obviously website, and she asked the audience if they thought like journalism or TikTok was more influential, and I raised my hand on TikTok because I think so.
Because people don't really trust journalism.
No.
They don't trust the news, yet they trust TikTok.
They trust like a total rando that has no qualifications on anything.
It's like someone half their age to be like, yes, you should be drinking more, I don't know, Gatorade because it's better for your longevity. I don't know. It's strange to me that these influencers have so much power now. And that influencer story, I think, is very controversial in my eyes because she asked for a free meal and he was like, no, you're not big enough for me to give you a free meal. But I feel like that's a little entitled, right? To be like, I'm an influencer, so give me something for free.
I think, though, that she had coordinated with his team and was there.
Okay.
So it wasn't like she just like popped in and was like, give me a free meal. I think they got in touch with her and was like setting up a whole collaboration. I mean, I think though his reaction to it was pretty bad to be like, oh, you only have 30,000 followers. You're a nobody. Like, that's pretty brutal. I don't
That's
know. It's like
terrible.
a sad state of the world if we're judging people based off their follower count, in my opinion.
It is, because you also, back in the day, you're treating everyone well because you don't want them to leave a bad Yelp review.
Right.
And you don't know how many people they have following their Yelp account. Like, could be nobody.
I know. And we did a cross promotion, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word, but we were on their podcast. They were on our podcast with Jared and Jordana from the You Up podcast. And we actually had a bit where we were talking about TikTok and like the influence on dating and how, clickbait tends to be more negative or more extreme. And that's the stuff that goes viral, and how this was contributing just the overall kind of anger and disgust in the dating world right now. So I personally have a lot of opinions on date talk, or whatever the dating section of TikTok is, and how maybe it's influenced things for the worse. But I'm excited to dive into this date them till you hate them mentality that we're going to talk about.
Yes. And if you don't know what that is, quickly Google it, because we don't want to give too much away until we start talking about it. Before that, we want to address an email we got. And this is all very much related, because in this era of short form content, it is very hard sometimes for us to convey all of our thoughts in like a 30-second or 90-second video. And some of the videos may not have the full picture. So we'll acknowledge that. But we did put up a video a few weeks ago about how monogamy is not dead. And we did receive some feedback through an email from someone who said non-monogamy doesn't exactly mean casual relationship. Non-monogamy could have many different forms of committed relationships. So by equating non-monogamy to casual relationships, you're actually really looking down on some of these non-monogamous structures. And we totally agree. Thank you so much for that feedback. That was not our intention, especially in a 90-second video. It's really hard to convey all of that.
I think he might have listened to the entire episode, actually. It wasn't just a video. So while, yes, agree with you, a 90-second video is very hard to relay. Also, I think in longer form content, things can get misconstrued. And as soon as this email came in, I was like, okay, I know the lens we were thinking about it. We were thinking about it as like monogamous listeners, people that want monogamy. They want, to be in that type of relationship, and they're getting a bunch of people that either want hookups or casualness, or they want non-monogamy. And I think that or might have got conflated. And as soon as he said it, I was like, okay, own this completely. I see how maybe our intention of that lens might have been lost, and that like distinction could have got overlapped.
Yes, we were not clear about the distinction. Non-monogamy does not just mean casual relationships. What we really want to say is commitment is not dead. There's still people out there looking for commitment in however you want to define commitment in a relationship structure to be. And sometimes that could be a monogamous relationship or in a polyamorous relationship, open relationship. There are many different forms, but there is commitment in all those relationships, and does not mean that in today's world, nobody wants any of that commitment. There are still people who do.
Right. And people are aligned with what you are aligned with. There is a whole, community of people that are poly, non-monogamous, and that's amazing. Like everyone can find the people that are in line with what they're looking for. And then people that are monogamous don't have to feel like there's no one left that's monogamous.
Yes.
There's also a cohort out there that's monogamous. So what we were trying to say is stay true to what you want ultimately. Like you don't have to feel like you have to like swift to whatever like you think everyone else is doing. Like you'll find your people eventually.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but thank you for highlighting that. And I think if you're if you're one person who thought that, I'm sure there are
Mhm.
others who thought the same thing. So thank you for giving us the opportunity to clarify that as well. And I find this to be a very interesting period in our lives where I think the word monogamy is
Yeah,
probably shifting meaning as well.
totally.
You probably could have a non-committed monogamous relationship these days,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
So now we just have to be extra clear about what
Yes.
we're trying to define.
That's the takeaway, is that you absolutely 110 can be so committed to your partners in a non-monogamous relationship. We've seen marriages, we've seen people that have lifelong partnerships. So yes, 100% agree with that.
So you
Okay.
can gain clarity. You can talk it out. You can be very communicative, like we're trying to be right now, or you can experience this new dating trend, which it's sort of the opposite. So, Julie, what do you think about this whole date them until you hate them trend?
I don't know. Is this a brilliant strategy or a complete cop out?
It's a TikTok trend. And the idea is just emotionally disconnect. Get into a relationship and ignore everything that annoys you about this person, all their habits, their red flags. Just let the relationship rot until you absolutely cannot stand it, and then you leave.
So instead of just breaking up, you just drag it out?
Yes, a slow, painful death. And make the breakup feel
Oh,
inevitable,
God.
but not tragic. Just let it die slowly.
I feel like that sounds cruel. Like toxic and cowardly, not clever.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of experts say that it's emotional sabotage. It prolongs the pain instead of just dealing with it.
So again, like, why not just talk it out? Like, when there's a challenge, see if it's something you could take on together, or if not, then part ways.
Definitely. Like we always say, communication overrides everything else. Communication is so much better than just avoiding and letting that love turn into resentment.
The only pro I will give this
Is there a pro?
okay, the only pro I'll give it is that it's easier to move on when you are angry and dislike someone, I think, than when you feel like there's still hope in the relationship. So I'd say that's a pro. And then the only other pro I can think of is like you kind of gave it your all. Like you wrote it out until you realize, like, I really just can't do this with them. I think, though, maybe where those get conflated is this like rot and not talk to them and just like leave because it's helping you process versus like I gave it a try. Maybe it's the same outcome, but a different mentality. So I think if you're in the mentality of like, I'm going to date them until I either am like, yes, this is my person, or nope, not for me. I think that to me is like a better approach than like, let me just date them until I hate them so it's easier for me.
Take it from me, as someone who got out of a relationship hating their partner because of the shitty things that he did to me. It is not the best way to end a relationship. Yes, it makes them moving forward so much easier,
Yeah.
but it sort of makes you feel like you were living in a dream for
Mm.
that time you were in a relationship. You start thinking, well, was it real? Because how could I hate this person or hate what happened to me right now when I felt like I was so in love, or I felt like I was living in this fairy tale? So I don't think that's the best way to end anything. Relationships, jobs, friendships. Like
Yeah.
you don't want to end up hating the person who you thought about every day, the person that you really respected for so long.
Yeah, I can see that too. I mean, this trend, the TikTok creator, I guess, that started it, was saying that she left a long-term relationship by emotionally withdrawing. So she really focused on all her partner's flaws, and the relationship's decay like fueled her resentment until she felt no more attachment to it.
Okay.
So, I mean, I guess like to me, if it's a long-term relationship and you're like letting it like go this way, like why not just cut it earlier? Like if you're at the point that you're like, I hate this person, all of their flaws are just too much and we're not aligned, like why keep going until you get to that point of like utter hate?
I'm going to get so gross right now. This is just sorry. This is what I'm visualizing right now is you driving a car, you hit some roadkill,
And instead of just leaving the roadkill and driving off, you're like slowly rolling over the roadkill and dragging it along. And you're going at a slow speed so that the roadkill slowly dies. To me, it's like, yes, the roadkill eventually dies, but also you are slowing yourself down. This is such a drag for you too. You're expending gas and energy and time on just trying to kill this roadkill when you could be on your way to something much happier.
Well, that's a really good point, because I guess if the point of this approach is that you basically like hit this place of like pure disgust or hate, that the breakup feels natural and painless over like a painful loss, but like aren't you just prolonging your pain like until you get to that point?
Yes.
Like I feel like either way you're going to have pain.
Absolutely. The hateful pain is worse, isn't it? Hate is still pain.
I want to dive into this even more, but before we do, let's take a quick break to hear from our partners.
Fall is in full swing, and it's the perfect time to refresh your wardrobe with pieces that feel as good as they look. And luckily, Quince makes it easy to look polished, stay warm, and save big without compromising on quality. Now, Quince has all the elevated essentials for the fall. Think 100% Mongolian cashmere from $50, washable silk tops and skirts, which I have many of, and perfectly tailored denim, all at prices that feel too good to be true. Why? Because they partner directly with ethical, top-tier factories, and they cut out the middleman to deliver luxury quality pieces at half the price of similar brands. I think Quince has become my one-stop shop. They're just pieces that I keep reaching for over and over again. And one of those pieces are my linen pants. They're just like the perfect transitional piece from summer into the fall, which is so great for here in LA. Keep it classic and cozy this fall with long-lasting staples from Quince. Go to quince.com/dateable for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/dateable to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DATEABLE.
I also feel like, I mean, look, if you want a real long-term committed relationship, whether you're poly or monogamous, I'll put that out there.
There you go. Great. Thanks for clarifying.
You have to confront conflict. You can't just run away from it. And this is important whether you're breaking up with someone or you're just resolving conflict in a relationship you want to stay in. So my take is like, if you know someone isn't right, just have the breakup convo, because this is good practice to like have these difficult convos instead of just running away. You're just like being a coward and not getting that like practice, right, of having the hard convos.
Yeah. Brings us back to the question, what are you getting out of this by dragging this out? You're not growing your communication skills. You're not growing your relational skills. You're certainly not happier because it sounds like you're building resentment. What are you benefiting from it? We always say address everything before it becomes a resentment. When it becomes resentful, that's almost when it's a little late, because it just means that you've let it build up for so long. But this advice or this trend is so opposite of everything we've ever talked about. It's like, build that resentment into the biggest mountain you can possibly build it into, and then have it come crashing down on you. You are also at the bottom of that mountain. Like, you are definitely not benefiting from any of this.
This is another reason why TikTok is ruining dating, because it sounds super catchy. Date him till you hate him, you know, and it's clickbait, it's virality, it has all of those, you know, measures, but it's not at the root getting to like what relational skills are. It's pushing people away and keeping us in this like me versus you mentality. Just think about like if someone you were with was staying in this relationship with you for years, so it could be easier for them to leave it because they hated you by the end and they were so disgusted by all your quirks and habits, and then they could just be like, peace, I'm moving on, and they wasted 2 years of your life knowing there was no future with you. That is one of the cruelest things you could possibly do to another human being.
Yes. And to yourself. I think this is so much torture on yourself. If I had to sit through a relationship where there were, even let's just go super trivial, something that really annoyed me about my partner. Maybe it's like the way that they put their shoes in the living room and instead of at the front door. I don't know, just an example. If I had to live with that, instead of addressing it, which is so simple,
Right.
can you please put your shoes at the door and not in the living room? If I didn't address it and I just let this fester, and every day I come home and I just see the shoes, and I just see the shoes and I relate it to him and relate it to how much I hate him, how am I supposed to feel good mentally? Like my
Yeah.
mental health would be degrading.
So the other alternative perspective, because this honestly, when you first sent this over to me, I kind of thought this was like a catchy way to say this alternative contrasting view of like basically keep dating someone until you're completely sure they're not a good fit.
Mm.
And I think there actually is a lot of merit to that.
Mhm.
And when I found out it was basically to make it easier for you and just rot away, I was like, wow, this is not what I thought, but good conversation nonetheless. But I do believe this like date them. Maybe it's not date them till you hate them. That's not the right word, but like date them till you know them, maybe not as catchy
Yeah.
again, but something that like gives you a thorough assessment before ending a potentially good relationship. That could be valuable because I think when you first
Yes.
start dating someone, you either don't give them enough of a chance because we're expecting this instant spark or all the traits we thought we needed, or you see them at their best behavior and then over time they reveal themselves the other way. So I think
Yep.
over time is really what we need. We talk about this in our book, How to Be Dateable, the expectation of love on demand, how that's really hurting our like chances of growing healthy, fulfilling partnership. I think having that extra time could actually be in your favor to give people a little more.
Why is it that there's so many relationship tropes out there about how the longer you are with someone, the more annoyed you would be by them? Like I
Right.
watched a video the other day that was like, marriage is accepting the way your partner breathes for the rest of your life. Like, why are we normalizing that? That apparently everybody who is always around each other is just going to get more and more annoyed. Of course, there are going to be little annoyances, but the annoyances don't need to build up. You start to build up tolerance and
Yeah.
understanding and compassion and love. Why are we like, I think it's because it's so funny to talk about stuff like that. Like, oh yeah, we've been married 50 years and we can't even be in the same room together because we're so annoyed by each other. Like, that's not cool. Why be in a relationship in the first place?
I do think though, like I mean, I agree. Like, I think you start to like appreciate each other's quirks or let them go and realize like this is who they are. I agree with you. It doesn't build necessarily over time more and more. That doesn't seem like a healthy partnership. But I do think there is something to the first couple months. You kind of have those rose-colored glasses and think this
Yes.
person is like the most amazing person ever a lot of times.
Yes.
And then you start to see the quirks and annoyances because they're a human and everyone does things. Like, I know I do things that annoy my partner. I'm absolutely aware of what those are. And some of them you can control and some of them you can't, like snoring, for instance. It's like, I can only do so much. And I think some of it, though, it's like you do kind of need to find that person that the good outweighs the annoyances. Because ultimately, like every human is going to annoy you in some way. So you either need to find the stuff that you can deal with or the stuff that like they have these so many amazing other traits that being with them makes it like, okay, well, wear earplugs at night.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that's the silver lining of this trend is that instead of putting your partner on a pedestal, you start seeing them as human.
Yeah.
And you don't overlook some of the things that like could be a potential red flag or things that could be deal breakers from the beginning, because when your rose-colored glasses are off, that you start thinking, how did I choose this person in the first place? So maybe it's even starting with you're meeting a person, a human, instead of someone you worship.
I think though the end motivation is different, right? In that, like the date him till you hate him on TikTok, it's like you're basically trying to hate the person by the end. Like that's the goal. Where the goal of like, can I, get through the annoyances and still build a partnership with them? The goal is like, I want to be with this person. So I feel
Mhm.
like if you're going into any situation being like, I want to figure out the end, like why even do it in the first place? But if you're going with the mindset of like, I want to work through things, I want to build a better relationship and foundation, even if there's some things that annoy the shit out of me or are hard to navigate, that is such a different mentality.
If you want to look for things to be annoyed by, you're going to find them.
Oh yeah.
You're going to find them. You're going to find them in someone you idolize too, like any celebrity. If you spend 24 hours with them, you're going to find things that annoy you about them. Let's be totally honest here. So why go into that with that, we call it like the red flag hunt,
Mhm.
because if you're going to hunt for red flags, you're always going to find them, but just see them as human and take in the information and start to build that understanding. This is the word that I lacked in earlier dating, was I didn't seek to understand my
Mhm.
partners. I just went in judging them,
Yeah.
evaluating them, or even trying to achieve something with them.
Mm,
I did not go in with the feeling of like, I really want to understand how this human became the way they are,
right.
why they're acting in this way. I want to understand that, and why they're saying the things that they do. That puts everybody at the human level. And it no longer makes you feel like, oh, I'm being nitpicky or I'm putting them on a pedestal. Like, we're just trying to understand.
Okay, so if we're going to grade this trend and approach on an A through an F, what would you give it?
Okay. In terms of catchiness of title and concept, I give it an A+. It's very catchy. Even the news has picked it up, so you know that there's the news, they're lacking things to report on.
Yeah.
But as an idea to make humanity better, it's like an F- in my eyes.
Oh
Julie?
my God. Yeah, I mean, again, the only redeeming part is probably not the real definition of it, is this part of like, let me try to make it work. But that's not really what this is saying. So I'd go with an F with you. I'm on the fail.
Yeah.
Fail
Yeah.
hard.
Very.
It doesn't, I don't know. I think all of these things, like we talk about how people ghost and they have no humanity anymore. And it's just like treating people so disposable and like it feels, it's cowardly. I think that's the one word that comes to mind for me. And cruel. It is cruel to lead someone on for a long period of time when you have no intention of being with them because you are just too afraid to have a conversation and break up with them.
Yeah. Yeah. You certainly don't want to be on the receiving end of that.
No.
Knowing that you're being judged every day to see how annoying you are.
Right. I also feel like with anything, it's like, look, do you want a Band-Aid and just like rip it off and it's going to hurt, but it's going to be over quickly? Or do you want this like long, drawn out IV process or something that just takes like years and years? And it's like, look, time is our most valuable asset, even if it's really, really freaking painful. I'd rather something happen and be able to recover from it and get my time back. Because then you can have the right relationship or free someone up to have one that works for them.
Yeah. I'm sure there's research to support this. I will do some research myself, but I bet you the longer a divorce takes, the more the hatred grows.
Oh, totally.
Right?
Just like rip the Band-Aid off at that point.
Just get it over with.
It's like, how do you make this
end it.
as smooth as possible and just move on? Both parties just move on.
Or don't get into it in the first place.
Yeah.
If you know that that's the ultimate ending. Just don't start.
Don't date someone with the mentality that you're going to keep dating them till you hate them. Just don't do it. Don't get your dating advice from TikTok. And I'm not, look, I'm saying that as people that have, you know, in my opinion, we have done our 10,000 hours and we have looked at a lot of research and talked to a lot of really credible people and done our own work and wrote a book about this topic. So I do believe we're credible. I'm not saying it just for that, though. Even if you choose never to listen to our podcast or other podcasts out there, or, you know, therapist work or people that know what they're talking about, just don't go to TikTok for your dating advice.
Please.
Do nothing
please.
over go to TikTok for your dating
Please.
advice.
Oh,
It's the blind
100%.
leading the blind. It really
It
is.
truly is. Yeah. Don't go to TikTok for anything, any
Other
sort of
than
advice.
entertainment. Purely, it should be entertainment only.
Please. Beg you. Gen
And
Z.
it's kind of sad that like the news is getting their news from TikTok trends. It's kind of sad to
Right.
me, but
Yeah,
also not
I mean-
surprising.
No, because we're also doing the same thing. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
talking about it, but
But we're going to kibosh it. This is a trend that needs to die. We're actually just going to kill it now instead of letting it drag on. So, killing this trend.
yep, we're done.
Bye.
We're done talking about it.
All right.
Awesome. Well, make sure if you want good dating advice to subscribe to Dateable. And our long form podcast drops every Tuesday. And then you can come back to hear these recorded on Sundays and then join us live on YouTube every Tuesday as well. So Tuesday is the main
Yay.
day. I didn't even think about it that way.
All right.
Okay. Awesome. And of course, pick up How to Be Dateable, our book full of, insight that's going to help you build relational skills and become a better human being in the process of dating to yourself and to
Yes.
others. So if you're on the
Yes.
same page of I don't even want to say the name. I'm not going to even
Nope.
say the name of the trend. If
'Cause
you
it's
don't,
already dead.
It's already done. It's already done. If you want to be a better dater, that's the place to go, not TikTok.
Go to howtobedateable.com and we'll see you all back here next week.
Bye.